As an American recording artist born and raised in New York City, he quickly developed a passion for the arts at an early age, from singing in church alongside his older brother Reggie to writing music and poetry. He released his debut EP album in August 2020, titled 10112, and has been ranked the top 20 upcoming charts by Starlight PR. Please give it up for a warm welcome to my bro that I'm so happy to have on the show. Give it up for Reality! Woo! Give it up. Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know where to begin here. Listen. This is just something. I'll tell you one thing for sure, you know. I mean, I'm just curious. Well, I'm going to get to this in just a moment because you're with this amazing music background. Because even when I've heard your songs, it was like, this is really something like where you could be called, is not Reality, but another version of Common, the rapper. I mean, David, do you usually get that a lot or what?
Nah.
Well,
I don't get that often.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But listen, let's tell us about the time when, because you were born and raised, well, to be specific, on Manhattan's Upper West Side. But how did the music and poetry all begin and everything else? How did it lead to that here?
That's a good question. I remember not remembering just when I started singing in church. I just remember being raised with my grandmother, my brother, and I. Every Sunday, woke up early, headed to Sunday school because my grandmother was a Sunday school teacher. And next thing you know, like on a consistent basis, the pastor just will have a selection from the Wilson brothers. That's what they called us.
Right.
And until he started to call us the Young Israelites. So at an early age, I don't even remember, but I could pretty much say since I was able to walk, I've been performing, things of that nature. So starting to actually write my own music, it actually came down to, I was in second to third grade, and I had a crush on this girl.
Really?
And, and
how did the girl respond?
That's coming right now. Let me tell you right now. So, my grandmother used to work overnight, so me and my brother ended up downstairs at our babysitter's house, who we call her Miss Green, Sister Green. So she had a grandson there. She's an elderly woman. She had a grandson who's my best friend, David, actually, and he.
I hope it's not my evil twin you're referring to here.
Nah, it's all good vibes.
Okay, good. Because listen, there's too many Davids in this world that fought Goliath.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
All right.
Yeah, so I remember asking his dad, who was married at the time, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, how did you end up meeting David's mom? Like, how did that happen?" He said, "Well, one day I wrote her a poem, and with that, that stuck with me. So I just remember from that day, like, I had like a note card, and I think I wrote her a poem, and I made her a bracelet, and it never went anywhere, to answer your other question.
Right.
But it was just being able to sit there and express myself, and just like, be confident in who I like and expressing that to the person themselves, not being around the bush and things of that nature. That really definitely helped with development in writing music, lyrics, especially in relaying those lyrics over to women. So that definitely helped in my journey. But that's an origin story for you right there.
Right. And I think all this led to the time when you were doing like performances because you were awarded the opportunity to showcase your talents at Radio City Music Hall, Carnegie Hall, and the Apollo Theater. Like, tell us more about that experience and like, how did you feel when that occurred? Basically,
I said, I like that, cause actually, while being in like elementary school, my brother and I were a part of this choir, which was called the Young People's Chorus of New York City. it's definitely still a very great program that I would recommend to children and youth across the city.
Yes.
But with that, like, just honestly being a part of something like that, it really helped shape, I guess you could say, some optimism for the future. Like just being granted certain opportunities. Not every like inner city child gets to experience that. So
Exactly.
through the YPC, Young People's Chorus, I ended up performing at the 92nd Street Y. We did Carnegie Hall. Radio City and everything was separate. So Radio City, I performed at Radio City when I was in 5th grade with my homie JQL, who's an artist, you know what I'm saying, from putting on for Harlem, doing this thing right now. Shout out to him. And me, him, and another friend of ours, Jalen at the time,
Yes.
we auditioned for the Garden of Dreams Foundations. They had some, I don't really remember the specific event, but the headline was Radio City Music Hall. We ended up doing that, and we performed our song entitled This Is Our Community, which is written by us, produced by us. And
Do you remember that song that you were talking about, This Is Our Community, and how it goes? Could you give us a little sample of that?
I remember I said, so like the hook was like, this is our community, welcome to the unity. When you come around
so it was
here,
a little
people
rap
don't
there.
even care. It was a full song, 3 verses, 3 hooks. It was done, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, how about, I wonder if you could do, if you said This Is Our Community, I wonder if you could do like a little same version of the rap, but replace the word community with spotlight.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes, because this is the spotlight.
All right. We started from the bottom, but we chilling at the top, all right? Hope that you enjoyed me and David in the spotlight.
Oh! I need an encore of that, you know? But listen, I want to talk to you about this album here that you dropped in 2020 over the summer here called 10-1-12, where there was a day that really changed your life on that day, and I'm assuming that day was August 1st, 2012, if I'm correct, right? Or tell us about how that happened.
October 1st, 2012.
Yes.
So,
which kind of explains how you named the title 10-1-12?
Yes, that is.
Tell us.
So pretty much when I was in high school, I had a crush on this girl.
How many crushes of girls are you having lately, you know?
No crushes currently.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wish my co-hosts were here, you know. They probably would be all over you right now, maybe.
Nah,
I think.
I'm taking.
Yeah.
But so I was going through a 10-1-12 is pretty much my coming of age story, dealing with the heartbreak. That day is significant to me because at the time, I remember being in 9th grade, my 9th grade year, towards like the 2nd semester of the year. I really started to like this girl that I was already friends with, and I really liked her. I ended up in summer school my freshman year of high school, but so over the summer, I just remember thinking about her often. Like, dang, I can't wait till we come back to school so we could like finally get it started, make this happen. Because we left on like a potential, you know. Summer went by, I didn't get to see her. Starting the school year, you know, the vibe is back. I finally waited like a long time. So we got together the day of October 1st, but that night, like going into October 1st, we had a very long conversation over the phone. I learned a lot of things. I learned what virginity meant to a young woman. So that definitely opened my eyes up, coming from a neighborhood full of young men and young women who are raised in single parent households. And, you know, not just having a full structure, like I was shaped by my environment as much as I let that happen. So I definitely, at that point, I would say I became a man because that's when I owned up and took accountability for my actions.
Was there anything else that you learned from that day or that night here?
That night in particular, I feel like just the experience was a learning experience. And I grew up since then.
Wow.
You know? And so taking that that conversation we had, how I felt in my heart at the time, and the
Yes.
experience that I went through with that person, it definitely contributed to who I am now.
Yes, and you know, and one of the songs that you're going to be performing for us coming up shortly here is Thoughts of You, where you use a raw hip hop to give some of that old school vibe here, and like what type of old school vibe are we talking about here? Are we referring to like something similar to how Will Smith did his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or his song with Summertime with DJ Jazzy Jeff here?
Okay.
Can you explain that?
That's a great question. I actually just want to let you know that it's funny you mentioned old school, because for years I felt like I was a person that had an old soul. And so I remember being in high school, well, growing up, I was never really allowed to grow my hair out.
Right.
My grandmother, I used to cry in the barbershop. She used to take me to get haircuts. I used to cry all the time. Let me keep it? No.
But did they give you tissues?
No, they didn't.
Oh God! What barber did you go to that didn't give you tissues?
It is crazy because I remember like going
Would
in
you?
ninth
Would
grade.
somebody please give him a tissue? For God's sake, here. I mean,
Nah, that's funny.
yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like throughout my freshman year, like I said, the album, the EP is like a coming of age story. So I came from going to a middle school uniform school
Yes.
to actually going to high school where we can be very expressive. We can dress however we want, no uniform. So that's what I'm doing. I'm literally finding who I am. So I don't really know how to dress or how to dress. I don't know if I should blend in with the people that's all from one neighborhood. I don't know if I should dress like I'm from downtown Soho area. I don't, so I'm figuring that out. Amongst that, I don't really know what to do with my hair because I was never really allowed to grow it. I didn't really feel like myself until I went and got a fade. I used to walk around with a flat top. That was just me. I had a high top fade throughout all of high school. So when you mentioned like old school, 90s, like what kind of
Yes.
vibe I was going for,
Yes.
I guess I just wanted to be authentic to myself. I never felt like more handsome until I started putting that on. I felt very confident.
Yes.
I just really felt like I was becoming a man and like my own. So I kind of feel like, I always used to feel like, man, I'm not supposed to be here. I wish I was born in like such and such so I could be a teenager in the 90s.
Well, listen, Reality, you are a man, and and we have thoughts of you that we can't wait to hear from you
Alright.
coming up. Because listen, we don't want anyone to go anywhere, because when we get back, you're gonna hear his thoughts, and you're gonna get turned up and get real and keep it 100. Because Reality is hitting the stage in just a moment. We'll be back, y'all. Woo!